G'day folks, and welcome to Gormo's Shed. This week we're looking at ways of making movies for your model railway, and in particular using a phone, because not everybody has a video camera, not everybody wants a video camera, but still you should be able to get some decent pictures of your model railway, especially these days with these new mobile phones. And the one I have is a basic model. It's a Samsung, and it's the cheapest one you can get here in Australia, just about, I think. And consequently, the images from this phone are not as good as what you would get, especially with an iPhone or something like that. But the problem with these phones is because of the shape of them, the design of them. It's difficult to hold them steady and sort of set them up, especially if you wanted to film your model railway. And as you know, I like to film low down at ground level when filming model trains, and it's particularly difficult with one of these unless you have some sort of stand or tripod device to mount them on. Now there's lots of gizmos available, especially on the internet, and you can quite easily set these things up on selfie sticks or tripods or whatever, but a lot of those devices don't actually allow you to get down close to the action like we would want to do with the model railway. So I googled the other day to see what was available, and people have come up with all sorts of crazy inventions using paper clips and bottle tops and all sorts of things, even bending CDs into shape and all that sort of thing. So there are ways to do it if you think about it. And I saw one using an old audio cassette case, and I've adapted that to suit this particular phone, and I'll show you how I go about it. It's quite simple, it's well within the reach of anybody. So let's have a look at how we do it. Right, what we need, folks, is this cassette case. I've got some of these 19mm bulldog clips or fold back clips, whatever you want to call them, and some fairly thick rubber bands. So that's all we need. So first thing we do is just take the cassette case apart, and we're only interested in this part here for what I want to do anyway. So then we bring the camera case over and lay that on the top of the case, actually, like so, and bring the phone up so that it's about 90 degrees to the table here, and just hold the cassette case in position and put some of these bulldog clips on just to hold it there. Put one on this end, and I put one in the middle, just so that we want this piece to be fairly rigid and stay in place there. Now we take one of the rubber bands and put it over the phone and inside the small edge of the case cover there, the cassette case cover, and make sure that the rubber band is not going over the lens. Now this thing will sit there. It needs to be held, but you can always get around that. If you wanted to leave it going on its own, you could just put something on there to weigh it down. Most of the time you'll be sort of filming, you'll be here and sort of controlling what's happening with the action. So that's how it is. Right folks, we've got this thing set up now, so what we'll do is go into the train room and we'll start filming some trains. And the reason I'm doing this is I think well, obviously it's quite hard to hold these things steady and film with a steady hand. And what this does is it draws your attention away from the camera movement and allows you to focus on what's happening in the action in the film. One of my pet hates is professional films that use the handheld camera and it's very shaky. They're trying to create this illusion of realism because of the shaky camera. And what annoys me about it is that these people are professionals, and if the film was good enough they wouldn't need to resort to these sorts of tactics to sort of create the illusion. And I mean, amateurs are amateurs, and if they can't hold the camera steady, it's not their fault, and they don't have access to all that fancy equipment that these professional filmmakers have. But we can take some steps towards improving that with little ideas like this. And let's face it, it's whatever you use to keep your camera in place. It doesn't matter whether you're using chewing gum and sticky tape and all rubber bands and all that sort of stuff. You don't see it on the film. What you see is the action in the film. So what's behind the scenes, it doesn't really matter. You don't need all sorts of fancy equipment. All you need to do is keep your camera steady. Okay, so let's go and film some trains and we'll see how this thing goes. Right folks, now I'm just setting myself up here. Now the actual lens is on this side of the phone here, and I'm trying to set it up as close to the rail as I can. I've got a train coming around at the moment, and it just misses there. Right, I'm all set to go here folks, so I'm just waiting for the train to come around into position, which is about now, and I'll start filming. And as soon as it goes past where I am, I just hit pause, and it's like editing on the fly, if you like. Now while we're in this position and we're actually in pause at the moment, as I say, it's like editing on the fly. I'm just waiting for another train to come around in the opposite direction, and then I'll push resume and it will all be part of the same video. So here we go. So it's recording now as the train goes past. There we are. And that'll do about there. So I've pushed pause again, and now we can bring something else along. Right folks, I've just turned on my Bachmann City class, which is coming out with 5 coaches on. We'll start filming. Again, the phone hasn't moved from its original position. I don't know how I'm going to edit all this together so it makes sense, but there you go. Anyway, we'll pause that there and we'll stop. Well folks, that seems to be working alright, so I think what I'll do is I'll put this big camera away, and we'll finish off with some footage from the phone camera. So yeah, I'll see what I can knock up here for you. Okay, I'll see you next week. Cheers, Gormo.